The Rams have signed defensive tackle Puna Ford to a 3-year deal. What does that mean for his time with the Rams this upcoming season and beyond? We'll talk about that next on this free agency episode here on the Rams Up Podcast Network. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Rams Up Podcast Network. I'm Ian. Thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe, turn that notification bell on if you're listening in here on YouTube. And if you're on the podcast side of things, we very much appreciate that as well. Share this video, share this episode with all your fellow Rams and football fans. We very much appreciate it. But, woo, somebody got paid here by the Rams as cha-ching is right, as Tom Pelissero puts out with the official NFL account. Rams signing Puna Ford to a 3-year deal worth up to $29.6 million, as the up to part of it, Rams Nation, means that this deal does have heavy incentives, right? The up to meaning that if everything gets checked off, he will get that 29.6 if everything works out in the 3 years. But that's always not the case, right? Could it be an Odell Beckham Jr. style deal where his incentives are tied into winning playoff runs, winning playoff games? Possible. Is it tied to his personal stats? How many quarterback sacks does he get? How many tackles for loss? It could be a ton of different things. When this info comes out, we'll definitely have a better idea of how this was structured by Les Snead and Tony Pastor as our money man with the cap economics. But we'll see how it goes, right? Usually that third year or the last year of any Rams deal that is 2 years or longer always seems to have a quote-unquote out where if things aren't going well, they can bail on him after that, going into that third year where there's no serious, significant money consequences. And I assume it'll be that way. But as a player, Puna Ford has been in the NFL quite some time now, as this will be his 8th season as a professional, this upcoming 2025 campaign with us. And he's been the prototypical run-stopping defensive tackle. But let me tell you, Rams Nation, this dude for being, let's make this a little bigger so you guys could see, this guy being 310 pounds at 5'11", I mean, his film, watching him play in and play out like I have been since the news got in. I had some extra time to kind of watch his tape. He is a freak athlete. It is very, very, what's what I want to say? It's astonishing to see a human that big look so damn athletic. And I think this is a fantastic signing from the Rams' perspective, as they have not had a freakish nose tackle, D tackle, that is big since, I would say, probably Greg Gaines. And, you could put Michael Brockers in that category because he was a very large human. But I think this Puna Ford is this version of the Rams, Greg Gaines, who was a starting nose tackle, D tackle during the Super Bowl season and the season after that, where he played some really good football. As Greg Gaines, shout out to La Habra High School and everyone who knows where that's at out here in Southern California, not very far away from LA County at all. He was a big, large human, maybe not super tall, but just for his weight and just his physical size, being a wider player. I mean, Greg Gaines was a freak athlete, and Puna Ford is exactly that as well. And look at Rams Nation. Pull up his highlights if you have the access to the All-22. I mean, he is a freak athlete, and it is incredible to watch him run around, track down players. In the screen game, he's able to hunt people down and catch them. Quarterback hits, quarterback pressures. Obviously, his sack total isn't anything crazy to look at, as in 2024, he only had 3 sacks. He had an interception, which shows you, obviously, he's got some hands with that athleticism that I saw on tape, and hopefully you will see as well. And then, again, 24 solo tackles, nothing crazy. But again, his main purpose was to stuff run, be disruptive, and he does have pass rushing ability. But let's, again, real quick, I think it's important that we go through what he's going to play with the Rams. So here is the base scheme that we, the Rams, our team, likes to run. We run a 3-4 defense. The base. Obviously, there's a lot of other packages, and we're not getting into that, but in this base defense, he will be the nose tackle. And if you're tuning in here on YouTube, you could see this visual here as you see the starting base 3-4 defense. The 3 meaning there's 3 D tackles, the 4 meaning that there's 4 linebackers, but you know how we do it. The outside linebackers are more like edge defenders lined up with all the D tackles. And you have 2 DNs, technically, right? That would be a Kobe Turner. The other one would be Braden Fisk. And then Puna Ford will be the big nose tackle in the middle of that defensive line. And he is a fantastic run stopper on top of the freakish athleticism. And I think it's also important to go through what PFF had him as. And I get it. PFF is a metric some people love, some people don't. But it's something to reference, something to quantify a player who maybe and doesn't blow up the stat sheet like Puna Ford has not. And that's okay though. But PFF this last season with the Chargers had him at an 85.1 overall grade out of 100. Pretty dang good. And that's fifth, ranked fifth in the entire NFL out of 219 defensive linemen. Wow. His pass rush grade for being a big dude is 32nd out of 219 defensive linemen, 71.1 out of 100. And then his run defensive grade is 78.8, which ranks 7th out of 219 defensive linemen. So he had a fantastic year. His tape doesn't lie. It shows that he's a hell of a good defensive tackle. And again, yes, he is going to be here to primarily play the nose tackle, right? Be that middle D lineman there. But he definitely has the ability to be put in a traditional defensive tackle spot and rush the passer. He's totally got the speed, the athleticism, the power, the moves. I mean, he's a very, very versatile player who I think will work. I think this signing is really going to work in tandem with the other D tackles. And I know many of you have enjoyed having Bobby Brown on the team. Based on his comments not that long ago, sharing his thoughts with fans on Twitter X about his displeasure with playing time and all that, it felt like he was not going to be back. With the drafting of Tyler Davis last year, who his former head coach Dabo Swinney said he would be on the all-time Clemson team. We saw some good flashes. We saw other players, Murchison and others, step up in the playoff tournament. And that, along with Puna, I think this defensive line, this pass rushing, front is in good hands with, again, Puna Ford staying in LA, but choosing to stay and run with the Rams instead of sticking with Harbaugh's Chargers. And again, I really, really think it's going to work. And let's not forget about Giff Smith, our defensive line coach. He's got his ties with his Charger days, and I'm sure Puna is very familiar and had no problem, coming in to say, hey, I'll work with defensive line coach Giff Smith again. And I'm sure our head coach Sean McVay and Giff had some nice conversations like, hey, get Puna in here with this group. We're going to kick some ass. And I really think that'll be the case. But again, Rams Nation, an unfamiliar player to maybe the masses and even myself, truthfully, I've heard of him. I just hadn't really watched film, dove into who he was as a player. But the more and more I'm looking into it and have been reading based on people's reports on him, the PFF, my own 2 eyes watching film, watching how he plays the game, I think this signing is going to work out really, really well. So, a big boy signing that I think is going to benefit a defense who was playing good football at the end of last season into the tournament, and I think that'll carry over and be better now that Puna Ford will be a nose tackle, flex defensive tackle in this Chris Shula 3-4 scheme. But Rams Nation, how do you feel about Puna Ford getting this 3-year up to $29.6 million deal? Let me know in the comment section how you feel about it. Was it too much? Was it too little? And how do you feel about Puna as a player being added to a team who is trying to win a Super Bowl this upcoming season and get Matthew Stafford and other veteran players riding off into the sunset hosting the Lombardi Trophy? Well, that'll do it here on this free agency episode here on the Rams Up Podcast Network. Like, subscribe, share this video and podcast with all your fellow Rams fans, and we'll see you very soon. Free agency frenzy is upon us. Go Rams, baby.